CNN files lawsuit against Trump administration to restore Jim Acosta's White House credentials. Because their ratings are in the gutter and they want stories and they're going to fabricate some to make a story, I suppose. Look, at the end of the day, the thing about this is that CNN itself has not been fired from the press secretary or from the press conference. Just Acosta. And let's face it, he did put his hands on the intern. We have seen that. So at the end of the day, and no, I don't think the video from InfoWars was doctored. I've already covered that too. I'll put a link to that in the video description at the back. On the end cards, you can see it. But yeah, I don't think he touched her. I don't think he assaulted her. I definitely think he touched her. I definitely think he did it without them doctoring the video. I wouldn't go calling it assault, but he has a habit of being disruptive. So yeah, I don't know. Good luck with this, I suppose. But let's jump into it. CNN filed a federal lawsuit against the Trump administration on Tuesday, demanding that the White House restore the press credentials of star reporter Jim Acosta after it was suspended last week. But the press secretary, Sarah Sanders, called the move more grandstanding from CNN, which I would have to agree with. But let's keep going. The White House yanked Acosta's pass after he got into a continuous debate with the president and refused to give up the microphone as he entered as the entire press pool looked on. It was just the latest case of Trump clashing with Acosta, the White House correspondent for Network Trump, regularly derived as Pavio of fake news. Pavio? I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway. So yeah, what they're basically saying there is it's the network that Trump literally brands as fake news. Which he is right, they are. But let's keep going. Quote, the wrongful relocation of the credentials, revocation of these credentials violates CNN and Acosta's First Amendment rights for freedom of the press and their Fifth Amendment right to due process. I think that last one's definitely a stretch, but anyway. CNN said in a statement, we have asked the court for an immediate restraining order. Really? A restraining order? Requiring the press to be returned to Jim Acosta and will seek permanent relief as part of this process. CNN added that the suit is specific to CNN and Acosta, but said it could happen to anyone. No, because nobody else has been banned. Reporters ask Trump a lot of hard questions, right? The question you want to ask is, why is CNN itself banned after this? What has CNN has done differently than the rest of the main press don't? And that thing would be, he put his hands on an intern, right? He was disrespectful. He has constantly tried to be a royal pain in the ass. He's been a disruptive presence. There are so many reasons to remove the pass right now. And I think this is more political grandstanding, like Sarah Sanders has said. This is more about CNN having crappy ratings and needing a story. So they're trying to make themselves out to be the victim. Well, sorry, no. Like, do I need to cut to the footage of just Jim Acosta's latest antics with Trump? The way he speaks, the way he does things. He was literally the one that called out when North Korea was signing a non-aggression pact with the president or whatever it was. Or what about, and they named that kid that died in their care or was comatose in their care. One or whatever his name is, sorry, One. But yeah, I'm tired, I know, I apologise. But like I say, look, at the end of the day, CNN's Jim Acosta used that exact moment to try and drive a wedge, to try and be confrontational, and that's what he's done. This is, and then he goes off and claims that he's the victim after he's deliberately gone and shot himself in the foot. So I don't have any sympathy for him, but let's keep going. Quote, if left unchallenged, the actions of the White House would create a dangerous, chilling effect for any journalist who covers our elections officials, CNN said. Oh, covers our elected officials, sorry, CNN said. It's funny, they didn't seem to care about the Democrat, Alexandria Cortez, whatever her name is, when she barred the press from the from her event. And it wasn't just one of the press members who had put his hands on an intern. It was the whole of the press corps. Did they complain about that? No. And like I say, this is just specifically Jim Acosta that's been banned. I imagine if CNN went through and got anybody else to go through, they would be allowed. So, yeah. Press Secretary Sanders issued a scathing statement calling the move more grandstanding from CNN. Yeah, okay, I've already read that. Pointing out the network and other reporters who are still allowed to enter the White House. So, calling the move more grandstanding and pointing out that the network has other reporters who are still allowed to enter the White House, which is just what I was saying. They could go through and they could get more than just Jim Acosta to go. Why does it have to be him? Because he's confrontational. Because he's there to rile up and cause problems. And this is all CNN does. They don't report on the news anymore. They just want to go there and be disruptive. And look, sometimes that's fine. I'm not saying it's not. But when it's constant stuff, and you're literally refusing to hand back the microphone because you think you've got more entitlement to ask more questions, to me that's just a lot of crap. So I don't have any sympathy for him. We're being advised that CNN has filed a complaint challenging the suspension of Jim Acosta's hard pass. This is more grandstanding from CNN and will vigorously defend against this lawsuit, Sanders said. CNN has nearly 50 additional hard pass holders that Mr. Acosta is no more or less specific or special than any of those media outlets or reporters with respect to the First Amendment. After Mr. Acosta asked the president 2 questions, each of which the president answered, he physically refused to surrender a White House microphone to an intern so that other reporter might ask the questions. That was not the first time this reporter has inappropriately refused to yield to other reporters, which it's not. There has been other cases where Jim Acosta has literally been crying out and calling out his answers over the top of other reporters just because he thinks he wants questions to his answers. He thinks he's more important than anybody else. Sanders continued, the White House cannot run an orderly and fair press conference when a reporter acts this way, which is neither appropriate nor professional. The First Amendment is not served with a single reporter of more than 150 present. Sorry, start again. The First Amendment is not served when a single reporter of more than 150 present attempts to monopolize the floor. If there's no check on this type of behavior, it impedes the ability of the president, the White House staff, and the members of the media to conduct business. Last week, Acosta's press pass, or hard pass as we like to call it, to access to the White House was suspended until further notice, after he engaged in the continuous back and forth over the migrant caravan working its way up through Mexico. Trump characterizes the caravan as an invasion, the term of which Acosta objected to. And it wasn't just about that, it was also about the fact that he was asking about Russia. There was a whole stack of things he wanted to ask about. The reason why he was kicked out was because he put his hands on an intern. You can't do that. Okay? Let's face it. You physically put your hands on a young girl. If that had been the other way around, if it had been a Democratic White House that had done this, holy shit, they wouldn't give 2 shits. They only care about it because it goes against them. They're partisan hacks. So, yeah. But anyway. Regardless of if it's Democrat or Republicans, don't put your hands on the interns. That kind of sounded a little dirty, but we'll keep going. So honestly, I think you should let me run the country and you run CNN, the president said. Probably a bad idea. The reporter tried to ask him another question before the female White House aide walked over to him. Trump then told him, that's enough. I believe he told him that a few times, actually, but anyway. Acosta continued to try and asked the intern was seen taking the Acosta continued to try to talk as the intern was seen trying to take the microphone from his hands. She grabbed the microphone, but Acosta wouldn't give it up. There was a brief contact between the two. White House Press Secretary Sanders said in the suspension of his press credentials stem from his placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job as a White House intern. She called the behavior absolutely unacceptable. If it had been the other way around, if it had been a Republican putting his hands on a Democrat intern, holy shit, we would have heard about it for another week. Several news outlets accused Sanders of using a doctored video as evidence, but the press secretary didn't back down from her decision. We've also covered that. We don't think it's doctored. We stand by our decision to revoke this individual's hard pass. We will not tolerate the inappropriate behavior clearly documented in this video. Sanders tweeted accompanying the alleged doctored video, which it's not because we've already dispelled that. White House Counselor Kerry Conway has said that this video was simply sped up. No. No, it wasn't sped up. That's not what she said. Who's this? This is Fox News. Yeah. I don't think the video is sped up. I think what they're seeing is a conversion and a lack of frames. That is all it is. It's because it's been turned to a GIF. You know, I think GIFs are about 420p or whatever it is. So you're going to lose some when it gets converted from 1080 to, or whatever it is, or 920 down to 480. So yeah, it's gonna lose some definition, definitely. So most videos that go up on YouTube, for example, they're around 720, or they're around the 1080p. So yeah, there's a big difference in quality. The attorney for CNN and Acostas followed up with a separate statement saying the law is clear the Trump administration violated the First Amendment and Due Process Clause. Good luck with that. The arbitrary revocation of Mr. Acosta's past credential is causing irreparable injury such every day because it's stopping him from reporting on news from the White House. Attorney Theodore B. J. Bottas Jr. said. The White House Correspondent Association for Fox News is a member, issued a statement in support of CNN's decision to take legal action. Oh boy. Fox News jumping in on this. I wonder why. People keep thinking that Fox News is pro-Trump. Fox News, people, is part of the establishment. Remember that. We continue to urge the administration to reverse course and fully reinstate CNN's correspondent. White House WHCA President of Knox said, the President of the United States should not be in the business of arbitrarily pricking the men and women who cover him. He's not. He's just simply saying that this one person who put his hands on an intern can't do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Acosta has emerged as a hero of the resistance after making a habit of shouting and interrupting when Trump and members of his administration are available to the media. He has been praised by the people such as comedian Jimmy Kimmel, I use the word comedian very lightly, but is also criticized by Trump supporters. Earlier this year, Trump kicked out the CNN star out of the Oval Office after Acosta badgered the president with racially charged questions. Acosta has also gotten into combative arguments with other members of the administration, including former press secretary Sean Spicer, Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney, and Senior Policy Advisor Stephen Miller. It's funny they mentioned all the males. He's also got into it with Sarah Sanders as well. In fact, Trump has also come out and said that Fox News, that CNN's talk, or the way that Jim Acosta has spoken to Sarah Sanders, was disgraceful. Why is Fox News not mentioning that? Why has Fox News only covered the men that Acosta has accosted? Probably because they don't want you to feel pity for them, or him, for Trump. Yeah, they're trying to push the narrative. Look, at the end of the day, guys, let's face it, Fox News is not just in Trump's campaign, right? They are part of the establishment. Fox News is not partisan in this. They're non-partisan in this. They are completely partisan. Yeah, sure, they might lean on Trump's direction, but I'll tell you now, if you could ask the heads of Fox News who they would rather, someone like for example, Trump, or someone like, for example, John McCain, they would say McCain. No doubt about it. Because he pushes their agenda. Sorry, it's bloody hot here. So look, at the end of the day, what's my takeaway from all this? Look, I'm not surprised that Fox News is jumping to bat for CNN. Obviously, they're worried about their own press pass and stuff like that. Look, do I think that this is a Trump versus the media? No. I think this is Trump versus Jim Acosta. Look, at the end of the day, he's trying to run these press passes or press meetings, whatever you want to call them. At the end of the day, he has to go through and he has to maintain some order. He can't do that with bugger-lugs here, and that's a nice thing of calling him, would actually go through and stopping these meetings, and that's what he's been doing. He's going through and he's being disruptive. So yeah, look, if it had been anybody else and it had been more about the First Amendment and, asking tough questions, I would be on CNN's side. I really, really would. But at the end of the day, Jim Acosta is a disruption. He has put his hands on an intern. He is constantly disruptive. He doesn't like it when other people get a chance to ask questions. He thinks it's all about him. He's refused to hand the microphone or stop asking questions several times. He's already been kicked out a few times. How much does this guy have to do before Trump has a right to kick him out? I don't know how this is going to go legally, but morally, yeah, I'm going to say I'm on Trump's side with this. And this is coming from someone that's pro-free speech. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's Trump. If Obama had done it, I would have said, yeah, I would have supported Obama kicking him out too. You got to maintain some order in these things. Because let me know your thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you with CNN on this? Do you believe that Trump is right? Are you siding with Trump or CNN? Where do you fall on these? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If the video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new, channel welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.